you guys know to flick up those shots from 38 feet, whatever it is, out there on a regular basis. So, again, I think it's fun in terms of these debates, greatest ever, top 10, etc. But to me, to see what Steph is doing on the court now, is just beyond incredible to me. And that we saw him step up again this season, and I think he's demonstrating he's clearly in that conversation.
Firm answer, better than Stephen A. Smith can do.
Well, there's no question, and there's no question about it. We got to keep some old coaches too. I want some young players in, but we got to keep some old coaches around. I hate to keep going back to COVID, Adam, but you had to be enormously proud for the league to get through this year. I mean, you had the bubble that you overcame, and now this year, and with the help from the G League, to finish the season the way we did this season.
Absolutely, PJ. I mean, there were times in this season when it was touch and go, when we had some of those early surges, particularly around the holidays. I mean, we frankly had teams that were, stocked with G League players. That's why my opening remarks tonight, I thanked them. Now, we believed, turns out correctly, that we could work through it, and that to the extent it was unfair to particular teams, the unfairness would essentially be spread out around the league. And one advantage of having an 82-game season, 4-round playoffs, and a lot of teams making the playoffs plus a play-in, that the unfairness somehow would work its way out. And I think that's what happened this season. But we were very concerned. And I just say, I mean, it was only fitting in a way for me that I got COVID at the end of the season. Because living through this, I mean, you can all imagine, you've been going through it too, but beginning back in March of 2020, this has been a daily part of my life every day, all through the bubble, then beyond, and even up until it was essentially, I think, around April when we stopped daily testing all our players. So everyone in the league office woke up because the test happened in the evening, the lab reports come overnight, and the first thing you do is when you woke up in the morning, you kind of slide that phone over and just kind of like, uh-oh. And usually it would be a text if it was bad news as opposed to email, whatever. But it was constant. And like so much credit to our players and teams because they fought through it. And the good news, these young, healthy players, I mean, they all handled it well. I mean, by the way, having just experienced it, when people say it's a cold, it's worse than a cold when you're in the middle of it. I never thought I'm going to the hospital or anything, but it sucks. I mean, it's a serious ailment. And again, I mean, for those who had it before there were vaccines and boosters, I don't know how they dealt with it because, again, I mean, it's one of the things I meant, what I meant in my opening remarks is it should give us tremendous empathy for people, that to have, when you're sick, like to understand the things, not just putting aside, my God, people died, of course, lots of people died, lots of people, serious people have long COVID, but on top of that, people missed some of the most important events in their lives because of COVID. They couldn't be at the bedside of dying relatives, they couldn't be at weddings, they couldn't be at graduations. I mean, and as I said, I mean, at least I hope that the NBA was a respite, that people could say, here's something I can turn to and really enjoy, and look at us and say, as a community, we all came together, we compromised on issues, the players worked well with the team governors, the teams worked well with each other, we knew there was hardship, but people